People often assume fears belong to those who lack skills or experience. But in reality, do you know that high achievers carry their own fears too? The fear of not living up to their past success. Hi, I'm Alina and I'm here with you all today to recount my journey. How I familiarize myself with fear and use it as a motivator rather than conquering it. For many Vietnamese students, summer is probably the most popular time of the year because there's no need to study. Just relax and it's fun. But for me, or to be more exact, to the young Alina 2 years ago, summer was probably the season where my deepest insecurity took shape. I used to be that kid, always on stage, always achieving. I, I was literally the golden kid that people pinned their hopes on. Paradoxically, something odd grew inside me. Fear. Every summer brought with it a mountain of pressure, from school entrance exams to gifted student contests. But what haunted me most wasn't the fear of scoring low. It was the fear of becoming the shadow of my former self. As a gifted student, I remember being teased or even downplayed for not choosing the top universities or going abroad to study as my other classmates. Those conversations would go on like this in just one pattern. Hi, Alina. Which school are you enrolling for? University A, I replied, which is my current school. What, Alina? Only that school. In such moments, I felt kind of small, like everything I had achieved before suddenly didn't even matter anymore just because of that one choice. I smiled and pretended I was fine, but deep down, it hurts, really. So, what would you do in such situations? Yeah, everybody will have their own ways of reacting, but to me, I chose stop trying. If I avoid challenge, I avoid failure. If I don't take the test seriously, no one could say I've failed. Temporarily, but at least that logic comforted me. Ironically, that fragile sense of control robbed me of almost everything: time, skills, relationships. Even my English, the thing I used to take pride on, started fading. But it wasn't just the connections or confidence I lost, it was something more dangerous, something harder to regain. Whether I succeeded or failed didn't even matter if I had shown up. I would have gained something, whether it's a new insightful lesson or a new scar that might later become strength. But when I didn't even try, I gave myself totally nothing. No lesson, no raw material to grow from. I was withholding from very one thing the future demands most: experience. Then came one night that changed almost everything. I had skipped school that day again because I couldn't bear sitting in that classroom surrounded by expectation I no longer believed I could meet. I had skipped so many classes that week that the school called home. But I knew they would call my mom. So I took my mom's phone in advance while she wasn't looking and blocked every number I believed the teachers might use. I even logged into her social media account and, okay, muted all the group chat where they usually message her. Sounds like I was on some kind of secret missions, right? But somehow, they still found a way. That evening, I walked past the tiny kitchen where my mom was quietly washing the dishes. But somehow, her silence was thunderous, and my intuition told me that she might have known something. Later, when I left my room, I saw it. Her red eyes. She was crying. That was so unlike her. The very strong woman who bared the weight of raising me alone, who could punish me harshly whenever I did something wrong. We talked a lot. And through tears, she said something I think I'll never forget. My child, what hurts me most is seeing you give up. Please, don't you never, ever give up like this. That was it. The moment. The punch to the gut I needed the most. That night, I couldn't sleep a wink. I stared at the ceiling and thought, if I don't get up from here, I will rot in this exact place. I will let down the very person who never let me fall. I decided to reset my mindset and turn it into action with concrete plans. My first step was to relearn English, to claw back the strength I once had. And preparing for the national English competition wasn't just about scoring high. It was about proving something, not to others, but to myself, that I wasn't done. That the girl who used to love English was still somewhere in me. But determination alone wasn't always be translated into success. I failed again, not miserably, but not enough to qualify. Okay, so I bet each of you here might have heard the very common phrase that goes like, if one door closes, another opens, right? Yeah, so what do you think about it? Me first, I totally agree. The universe might not help you, obviously, but rather in a subtle way, that it sends you the right lifelines whenever you need them the most. And that's how I met Rose, a mentor I connected by pure chance while waiting to renew my national ID card. We texted a lot, and here's what I was able to take away. When life drags you to rock bottom, every step you take is already a step upward. When the climb feels exhausting, it simply means you're going uphill. So keep going. If you succeed, bravo, amazing. How about if you fail? So what? It's still fine. You still have 3 meals a day, your parents still love you, your gas tank is full, and you haven't really lost anything. That became a compass whenever fear tried to hold me back from daring something new. And one more thing. I realized that opportunities don't always come to the most talented people, but rather to those who are stubborn enough to keep going and don't get discouraged by a few early failures. Time flies, and the graduation exam was coming. I set myself a whole new goal, a perfect 10 in English. There were nights when I cried because of frustrations and exhaustion. But this time, instead of giving up and opening TikTok to watch some self-help videos, I wiped my tears and kept going. And the result came in. A perfect 10. Did I feel proud? Of course. But I kept it inside. Next, I took a bigger leap, joining a national debate competition. Was it crazy? Probably, because I was a total newbie. But I didn't just stop there. I also reached out and joined community work with the hope of truly connecting and healing something inside me through helping others. Sounds like I was making great progress, wasn't I? No. Failed projects, awkward presentations, rejections, not just 1 or 2, but 7 in a row. You guys can call me like the queen of resilience, or in Vietnamese, we have a very funny term, Wuli Don. Okay, those rejections hurt. They handed me something priceless. I gained mentors, I gained friends, even people who later thanked me. I felt a great sense of reward because I knew my help had lit up the future of someone who once felt left in the dark. And most importantly, I learned the way to keep walking forward even when I was trembling. So, at the end of the day, was I no longer afraid? No. The fear is still there. But I know every summer from now on could be something very different because I no longer see fear as my enemy. Because I know that the more I fear something, the more I gotta do it. Fear itself is actually a signal. It simply means that something meaningful, like a turning point, is about to happen. Because from fear comes focus, from focus comes growth, and from growth comes the future I choose to ignite. Because your future isn't waiting out there in the distance, it's waiting inside you right now. Thank you.